I texted Ryan. I said I'm gonna roll down the movie theater steps in hysteria.
Look, bro.
Throw myself at the screen. Get out of
Whoa!
there! Get out of there!
Calling out all my nerds, freaks, and geeks. It's mob time.
Don't tune in cause it's showtime. Go ahead and call the gang up for the one time. Rap food Ryan, got him on the line. And my life's still great, I'm doing just fine. Hands up!
What's up, y'all, and welcome to the Blerd Mob, your hub for all things black and nerdy. I am your host, Foop, joined by my two co-hosts, Ryan and Antoine. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other streaming service, make sure you hit that follow button so you can get updates from the mob.
And if you Hashira are watching us on YouTube, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on those bell notifications for future uploads, and you know what? Share it with a friend.
All right. So as Ryan has alluded to, let's get it together. Let's get it
Your
together.
chest done burning?
Yeah, my chest is done.
Off camera,
But-
she threw up, but she swallowed it.
Whoa. That's called stretching the truth.
Okay, what happened? Okay.
That didn't happen. But as
She
Ryan
needs some
has
Tums
alluded
and some
to,
Pepto-Bismol.
and some Tums, yeah.
Yeah,
You done interrupting me though?
I think so.
Okay. As Ryan.
But
in
you
the
know
corner-
what? I do got
Oh
some
my
God! My bad. I'm sorry. Happy to be here.
Are you?
Can we get through the intro, please?
He's not letting a bitch speak. Golly. So, for the last couple seconds, I've been trying to say we are here to do a mob review on Demon Slayer Season 4, the Hashira training arc. But before we get into it, it's been a minute since we've been in the studio. We just did a live stream for our first ever Hit Stop episode a week ago. So, if you check that out, thanks for coming. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you, after you watch this video, go check out that video. Let us know how you felt. But, how you guys been doing?
Back at work.
4-day
After this-
weekend.
Yeah, no more 4th of July.
Gotta wait till Labor Day.
Let's fall back at the workplace.
Hey, yo,
Yeah.
They tired me out today. I had to work all the way till 5. I said, hold on now. Usually
Yeah, I
we
ain't
be out
late.
here to good 4.
I ain't leave work till like 5:15. I've been, I switched to my Scrum Master position. So,
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing like the PBRs. I had PBR today, and I'm in charge of like the whole delivery process, so I had to do that today.
PBR product backlog refinement?
Yeah,
Okay.
had to do that today. Had to do delivery stuff today, and I had to work on my original task. And yeah, it was like back to back stuff. So
Working you.
yeah, they working me. What Quavo said, working
me.
Hey, yo. For the folks who be forgetting, yes, we are sadly grown adults who have to work big adult jobs.
Bigger
We've been doing
work
it for a long
that
time.
I barely
work
got out
that
there
9 to
dead this
5.
morning.
Look, bruh, they
Man.
starting to put us in leadership positions. Y'all realize that? Like, we've been working for like 5 years each, I think, or going on 6.
Yeah.
We're almost mid-senior level.
Every time it's crazy because I feel like I'm in this in between space to where the new junior engineers are coming in, and then I'm still with like the senior engineers. And I'm in the middle, and it's like I'm not y'all, but I'm not them neither, and I'm here.
That's how I be feeling, because it's like I be having to coach events now. I ain't gonna go too depth with our jobs, obviously, because we on social media. But like, I'm like, am I over here coaching? Like, I'm coaching real grown, intelligent, smart people right now. Y'all asking me tough questions. Why y'all care about my opinion? Am I at that point in my career to where y'all grown folks care about my opinion?
Y'all looking for me for guidance. I was looking at him.
No. it got to the point where I'd be coaching other people, and they'd be like, "Thank you so much for this guidance." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, I just helped you with your job."
Something about this feels elderly.
It's like off. Like I'm not in my
Elderly.
30s yet. I'm still a smooth, flowery 20. I'm still blooming.
I wouldn't say fly. You getting on up there.
I know you're old. You about 8 months younger than me. You old too.
Ooh.
He's gonna round up to the next number. What's the next? Round up to the next.
I'll
Look,
round down. Y'all round up.
I get notifications for all y'all birthdays. You old too, Antoine. Your internet seem old too, the way you lagging.
Yeah, Antoine sound like a transformer over there.
I was gonna ask because this number been dropping.
In the first movie when they was deciphering it, when the CIA was trying to interpret what they were saying.
Oh yeah, when they was like, the only thing we have is this sound.
Like it's a language. If only we can decipher it.
I don't know why my upload speed keeps dropping.
I'm gonna watch Transformers again this weekend. That's my favorite movie of all time.
Hey yo, I know we finna do a mob review for Demon Slayer, but bro, I'm looking forward to that House of the Dragon mob review. Cause these episodes, Dragon,
and we're on episode 4 out of 8. We gonna hold the conversation because this conversation is for Demon Slayer. But if you are not tuned in to House of the Dragon, you need to lock in. If you were there for the mob review that me and Ryan did last time, you already know we're gonna be back for season 2.
And it's crazy.
So it looked like Antoine dropped off.
The Autobots got him.
The Decepticons and snatched his ass up. But we'll go ahead. Crazy. We'll go ahead and get started. Hopefully he hops back in soon. So like I said, we're here to do a review on Demon Slayer Season 4, the Hashira training arc. Debuted February 23rd. That really came out in February?
We had what, 11 episodes? 12 episodes?
I thought it was like 8.
Was it 8? How many episodes were in Demon Slayer Hashira training?
I swear I thought it was like 8 episodes.
Demon Slayer Hashira
June 30th, 2024. Google is crazy.
It's 8.
Where you get February from?
No, they said the English dub premieres on Sunday, June. I looked up.
No, I see February 23rd right here for Hashira training arc, February 23rd. And then we got March, April, May. It ended, what, a week or 2 ago in June?
They said episode 1 of Demon Slayer Hashira training arc premiered exclusively on Crunchyroll, May 12th, 2024. That makes more sense.
So where Google get it from? Because you know what? Now I see that under the DemonSlayerAnime.com. That's what you looked at? Because that's where I see May 12th.
I was looking on the Crunchyroll site. Alright, so here we go. I got it. We finna put this conversation to rest. Episode 1.
The movie. Remember the movie when they had that?
Oh yeah. You right.
When
you
they
right.
did that BS. Technically the first episode did air.
And I didn't go see that shit. I waited.
Me neither.
I waited for Crunchyroll. Alright, so if you roll with Crunchyroll and then go see that movie, Demon Slayer Hashira training arc started May 12th, 2024. And the last episode 8, released June 30th, 2024. I knew it was 8 episodes. That's why that February date ain't make sense to me.
I was finna try to make it make sense in my head. I was like, did we skip a weekend?
You was finna mansplain to me, and you was finna be wrong.
I wasn't gonna mansplain. You see, y'all use that word so loosely.
You was.
No, I wasn't. I was gonna be like, when the spring season did start around that time? Did it? No, I wasn't finna say you was wrong or right. I was finna try to break it down with you.
Mansplain.
That's so crazy.
All right.
Side note: do I still sound bad to y'all?
So much to break the allegations.
No, you have escaped the Decepticons, Antoine.
We've deciphered that robotic message sent to us from another planet.
I'm still at 58% upload, so we gonna see how that go.
We gonna see how this go. But what was I finna say? As always, our mob reviews are spoiler filled. So if you have not seen Demon Slayer Hashira training arc, or or if you're not finished watching the season, press pause on this video, go get caught up, and then come back and listen to the conversation. So let's
Leave a
get
like though. Like the video. Pause it, then like it, then leave a comment saying I'm coming back, then come back and give us another comment because you want us to get engagement, you want us to get paid at some point.
And that's how we know you're coming back.
Respect.
If you leave a comment, we know he's definitely coming back. He left a comment.
He left a comment. We know he's coming back.
We know he's coming back. But let's go ahead and get started, guys, on these hot takes. So, to start us off, how did we feel about season 4 as a whole in comparison to the past seasons? And special note for those watching, me, Ryan, and Antoine have read the manga for Demon Slayer. So we're going to be adding in a little bit of extra tidbits to this conversation based on that. So how did we feel about season 4 in comparison to the past seasons, and how did we feel about it in comparison to the manga?
So my biggest thing is I enjoyed it. Let me get that across. I would arguably say I enjoyed it more than the last season, despite the fact that it was all filler. But this is filler done right. They added so much to make us bond with the characters, allow us to enjoy our time with them, knowing what's coming next, having the time to see how the relationships of all the different Hashira, like the Serpent one and Sanemi. Well, the Serpent Hashira name is Igoro, correct? How him and Sanemi interact with each other, getting a little bit more of Giyu, seeing Tanjiro and the other Demon Slayers and how they all respect him and look up to him. It did a great job. I wouldn't even recommend reading the manga. I'll say for y'all anime only who like, oh, I should read ahead. No, the way this anime is going, just watch it at this point. You don't got to read nothing. Because this anime is a great adaptation.
I would say, in comparison to the manga, the Hashira training arc is not that long. I think we said that in our like season 3 mob review that we didn't know how they were going to do the Hashira training arc because it was so short. We assumed
like one volume.
It was so short that we assumed that the Swordsman Village arc was going to expand into the Hashira training arc, and then we were just going to hop into Infinity Castle. But I appreciate what Ufotable did with the Hashira training arc, and I would have to agree with Ryan. This was filler done right. This was not a waste of 8 episodes.
Yeah.
The way that to just get into like how the season started with that additional scene with Sanemi and Igoro fighting those demon slayers, and then they boom Infinity Castle, and then the callback at the end of the episode, that was something that wasn't in the manga, and I was like, okay,
at all.
Yeah, I say in comparisons, let's think about like how My Hero did like their filler season, and a lot of people kind of like dropped off. I don't think a lot of people really dropped off with Demon Slayer. Well, I'm gonna speak for myself at least. I did not drop off. They had my full attention. Like, I mean, I know we kind of chilling. We happy go lucky times. You know, everybody gotta be happy if you know what's coming. But I think, like Ryan said, Infu, they did a good job. And also to Ryan's point of if you haven't read the manga, if you're already at this point, I would also say that you really don't have to, because I don't think they just changed anything from the manga. They just added to, and I think they did that nicely. You get that extra detail, extra oomph that you don't get from the manga, which is a nice thing.
I would agree. Unless you're just so curious to find out what happens in the Infinity Castle and what happens at the end, by all means, read the final volumes of Demon Slayer. But I think at this point, just enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Like, the way this shit's about to go down.
Because the anime they added so much to like edify the story. Like, I can think of like 3 bits of foreshadowing. Like the way they introduced that conversation with Tameo and the Raven. We didn't get to see that. We didn't know they was working with the Demon Slayer. She was working with the Demon Slayers until like way later on. The way they foreshadowed that Kanao and Shinobu conversation. That was very interesting, and people may not see where that's going. I think the letter to Zenitsu was in the manga. But the way they emphasized it, especially with him falling through the Infinity Council and they gave him that extra spotlight, really showed like that. Yeah. And y'all are going to see why. They foreshadowed almost every moment that we finna get in Infinity Castle, and they did it perfectly.
And I
Even just
said
with the first
this.
episode.
I said this on one of our regular episodes, but what I liked the most about this and what I still liked about it, even when it's done, is the way that they were setting things up. Like Ryan just mentioned, there were a couple pieces, a couple conversations that happened that we didn't see until towards the end. And the fact that they brought those up a bit further and started building that anticipation, then leading up to this point, I was like, okay, I'm not mad at this, because once they get in that castle, they in that castle.
They're in that
So
castle.
I felt them 100% on putting in these small little tidbits, doing a bit of foreshadowing in a couple areas, because when we get there, does these small little, what you feel like are filler pieces, these small, like, okay, what was that about? What was that about? I feel like it's going to hit 10 times harder once we get into that castle.
It's going to make everything just blow up in the viewer's face. Like, you're going to be like, oh, that's what that was? That's what that was? Like, yeah.
I think
That's what that was.
It's the feels. The feels.
We finna be crying. Like, if they put all 3 of these in movie theaters.
Oh my God, man.
I texted Ryan. I said, I'm going to roll down the movie theater steps in hysteria.
Look, bro.
Throw myself at the screen. Get out of there! Get out of there! Get out of there!
I remember texting Portia this because Food this because I think you read the manga before me, right? You finished it before me, and then I bought the box set later.
I feel like
you read it online.
No, I borrowed somebody's books. It was me and Antoine who were reading at the same time, because we were switching out books. And I think you read it later once you got the box set.
The volume before the last, halfway through, I was crying. I mean, like, when I sat down, people saw my Instagram stories. I'll sit down, read the Demon Slayer manga, have the soundtrack in the background, and drink a glass of wine. Halfway through the volume before last, I started crying. I read the final volume, and the tears kept coming. Never stopped.
He put on that music.
You know my tolerance too high.
He started drinking and put on that music. No, y'all, please.
Y'all, no, stop.
Please.
I do remember reading that at work, because we had the books at work.
It got real sad. It got real sad.
Reading them pages, bad. I was like, let me not start crying at work.
It got real bad. Like, the way Ufotable is about to play this out. There is a reason why these last 3 are going to be movies. I know you may feel a certain way about them putting, ending it with 3 movies, but these, if anything, this was the place to make 3 movies. I had no idea how they were going to split that up into episodes, if they were going to continue this episodic.
That was going to be brutal, having to wait a week to watch the next episode. I'm going to just put that out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there are going to be certain moments where it's like, you might want to, honestly, instead of like 12 hour-and-a-half long episodes, either do the 3 movies or do like hour-long episodes. Because ain't no way you finna go through all of this content and tell someone to stop right here after you just seen someone. I ain't finna spoil it, but look.
Hey, look. Before we get too far, we are here to talk about season 4 and not beyond. So, let's get back to it. So, how did we feel about the animation this season?
As always, beautiful. As always,
phenomenal.
He said phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Look, bro, let's just talk about it. That explosion at the end.
Yo.
Muzan's walk and the steam effects. I thought the steam was finna come out my damn TV.
I want to talk about 2 really good scenes that where the animation peaked. Because like we said, this was like a filler type season, so there wasn't a lot of action heavy. The animation was good as always. Like Antoine said, I agree. But 2 spots for me where the animation was phenomenal, or as Ron said, phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
The first episode, when we finally get to see Sanemi and how they animated his wind style. that neon green,
yeah,
was nice. That whole sequence up to them falling inside of the Infinity Castle was nice. I love the movements, the way they did it. And then what Ryan was saying, that explosion. The explosion going to Guillaume versus Muzan. That Guillaume versus Muzan fight, if it had been a bit longer, it would have rivaled Tengen versus old dude in Entertainment District Art.
I ain't
yeah.
gonna lie.
I can see
I
that.
was thinking that when I watched it. When I was watching it, I was like, "Oh, they doing that level of artistry? Like
If
this?
it had,
This
if it
looks
had,
good."
if it had went on just a little longer, it would have rivaled. But I saw it and I was like, "Oh, he's getting to work. They're
They just
getting
gave
to
us a
work."
taste of him too, just a little
Yeah.
taste too, man. I'm telling you.
Oh
Ooh.
my god, that but
The way they animated his body after the explosion and him healing, seeing all them
it
veins and
gave
muscle fibers.
it
Yeah,
gave Attack on
Come on,
Titan.
bro.
It
yeah.
gave me
Yeah.
it gave me Attack on Titan. Like this was Aaron doing when they did the founding Titan sequence where all them nerves and stuff started building up. I was like, yo.
That explosion though, I think in the manga the explosion is just like one page.
It's one page,
It's just
boom.
one page. The way that they animated that, and I don't know who was cooking in that kitchen, but they was
Yo,
cooking. The
hey,
angles, I'm talking about the detail, everything.
like it look
What's the
like
chef dude
charcoal
name?
and
Gordon Ramsay. Look,
Right.
it looked like
they put
somebody was
seasoning on that.
filming a flame on a charcoal grill. The way it just looked so like realistic, and the way they did it from all the different angles and stuff, it was I
The
knew
slow
what was
motion.
the slow motion, like I knew what was coming up, but even then I was like, WTF. Like
And,
when
and
I read the manga, I was like, damn, he blew his whole house up. When I watched the anime, I was like, damn, he
he
blew his
blew the
whole
whole
house up. He blew his whole house up. The men, the women, and the children.
The children too, everybody.
And look, bro, and it wasn't like they held out the good animation till the end. Even the fights between Sonami and Giyu, when
Yes.
Sonami and Iguro were training up,
When
when it
Mitsuri
was
had joined in,
Miichiro,
not
when
Mitsuri, Muichiro.
Muichiro was training with those dudes, like every scene looked good. In fact, the only thing they kind of got lazy on, like the only thing, I don't even think it was lazy, they just knew ain't nobody want to see it, was Tanjiro Mitsuri's training, because they just showed them all in the little two-piece ballerina suits, and then they moved on.
Get you
But
an
I wouldn't even call that
animation studio
lazy.
that can do both. Get you an animation studio that can do both. Give you high quality battle scenes in Tanjiro in a ballerina suit.
Right.
Like, they did a great job, bro. Like, I don't care what nobody say. It's carried by animation. And you know what? That animation can bench press about 315. It's doing a good job.
It is
It's
going.
carrying a lot of weight. It's doing a good job.
I like Demon Slayer. I get the complaints. I think we talked about this last time, where one of the complaints was like the stories, like the when we get into people's backstories, they're pretty redundant. But like even when we got to Guillaume's backstory, it was basically the same backstory we didn't see for everybody else. It was just Guillaume. But like, I get the complaints, but I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
I could say the animation is beautiful, but it's not, for me at least, it's not what carries it. Because I was into the manga too, even without before the animation. They had my full attention, so I ain't need that.
I think the animation took it up there for me, because I think I started reading the manga after Mugen Train. I had watched Demon Slayer season 1 on Netflix, and then we went to go see Mugen Train, and the animation of Mugen Train was amazing. And so then I started reading the manga, and I think in my head as I was reading, as I was diving into the story, it was just like, I can't wait for them to animate this shit.
Yeah. Yep.
See, well, that was actually a topic I was going to hit in our next mob review, about how these animes that kind of follow Bleach's formula, most of their season 1s did not catch me the first time. JJK, Kaiju, Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan, most of their season 1s did not catch me. But everybody season 2, especially Demon Slayers, that's when the story kick in for me. That's when they get me. And Mugen Train definitely did that and kept that and started that trend, kind of.
And sometimes I kind of feel like if it's just like a introductory type thing with certain seasons, like I don't know if it's like we don't want to put our eggs in a basket, or we're kind of like dipping our toe in the water, like, or we're going from manga to anime. So how are we going to play around with some of these elements, and then you do it, and then you just level up from there.
Yeah, and after you watch a lot of shonen anime, it's like it gets familiar.
Because the animes that you name, like Demon Slayer, Bleach, Kaiju Number 8, Attack on Titan, like they have some very unique pieces to the story. Where it's like once you animate it, how do you take that a step further? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So we have been talking about a couple of these different areas, but just the deep dive. How did we feel about Tanjiro this season? The Hashira training regimes, Muzan and Ubashiki, Muzan versus Guillaume. We kind of Ubayashiki.
That's why I just call him the master.
Or Ubuyashiki?
I'm finna call him the master.
That's why I just call him the master.
The master. Okay.
Muzan versus Guillaume, we kind of talked about that a little bit, and then the final scene of everybody falling into the Infinity Castle. So let's start with Tanjiro, our main guy. How'd you guys feel about Tanjiro this season?
I like that we got more insight into how the other Demon Slayers view him. And that's something that was kind of added. Like, I think we saw a little bit of the other Demon Slayers in the manga, but like a lot of shows get to that point where you got your main cast, and then you got the other strong characters that fight with them, and they kind of forget about the little guy. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I like that Demon Slayer gave us this time in the Hashira Chain Arc to see how all those other little Demon Slayers look up to him, how he's still humble, how he's still goal-oriented and focused. And shoot, he a little snappy. I like how he snapped a little bit on Sonomi. I was like, oh, I don't respect you either.
He was like, you that's fine. My sister. I don't like you either.
Yeah, you gotta love him for that. I'm talking about that passive aggression type stuff. I did enjoy Tanjiro this season. He wasn't doing no crying or nothing. He was like, we here to train. He really got into it.
Yeah, I definitely. I think the Hashira training arc was the point for you. I guess the laying it out on the table so we could see how Tanjiro has been growing these past 3 seasons. Because as we progress through each Hashira training arc, we see the different things that he's learned from, like what he learned from the Battle in the Swordsman Village arc, what he learned from the Entertainment District arc, what he learned from Mugen Train, what he learned from season 1, and you finally get to see him put all of that together.
Yeah.
So
and it almost proves to you that he's on Hashira level. Because even when he came out, they told you he wasn't fully healed. And he's over here going against Tengen. And for anybody who's trying to power skill, well, Tengen was handicapped. Tengen's missing an arm.
And was fighting with the knife in his mouth.
That man can still sprint a mile in less than like 1 minute. He fought a whole upper moon with that missing arm while poisoned. This man was fed good, got to hang out with his 3 wives and cuddle, and now he's out here training for fun. If you can fight him, I don't care if he's missing an arm. You on Hashira level if you can even see that man moves.
Yeah, he's definitely earned down. He's earned like the respect that a lot of the Hashira give him. He's worked for that.
And exactly. I love how he stays humble about it. I feel like some MCs would have been like, I'm big shit. I didn't fought along a Hashira. I didn't fought like 5 upper moons. Like, you not touching me. And he just goes in with the attitude like he's still like he goes in with the attitude that he's still on the same level as everybody else, and that he still has more to learn, and he still has more to grow. And like taking a look back of what we're leading up to, it's nothing more you can learn, big dog. I get your attitude. I appreciate your humbleness, but my God, you have gone as far as you can go.
You've battled more upper moons than pretty much every single active Hashira.
Yeah.
And you won.
Yeah.
Like,
and you walked away.
Honestly, the Hashira can't show you nothing unless you want to learn a new breathing technique.
Yeah.
And technically, you the one who done learned the old school forgotten breathing technique, so you could teach them some.
Yeah.
I just like how he stays humble in his level of respect, like him being level-headed and him continuing to be level-headed even though he has all of these feats and have all these skills. Is I feel like once we step into this Infinity Council, it's going to show.
It's that experience coming out. That's.
Mm-hmm. And I like how the Hashira respond to him too. Like seeing Muichiro like be tough on everybody else, and he see Tanjiro, like he was just
He
happy
opened that door. He was
excited.
like, "Oh my god, Tanjiro, come here!" They suck, so
they're trash. Can you show them how it's done?
can
Because
we show
you
them
know what
how
I'm
it's.
talking about.
Yeah.
The only people who didn't cut him slack was Sanemi and that snake dude, because he was jealous. I thought
They
that was cute.
jealous. They
I thought it
jealous.
was cute. Him. Oh man.
He don't need to be mad that Tanjiro could get his girl if he wanted to. Tanjiro didn't even want her. He don't want her. I know who Tanjiro likes.
We know who Tanjiro likes. But we've been talking about this for a minute, but just to get a bit more specific, how did you guys feel about the Hashira training regimes?
I like the way they kind of split it up based on everybody's kind of like expertise. Because I guess you would think like, how are they going to split this up between all the Hashira? But I think they did pretty good on that.
Looking back, the only thing I'm surprised they didn't add is like when you look at the very first entrance exam for Demon Slayers and how they got to fight those demons that they was able to capture. I'm surprised they didn't try to make like another, little demon fighting land. Maybe it's because Muzan's hunted them down, and they also said that there was barely in the streets looking at lore. But I'm surprised they didn't try to recreate something of that level. You know what I mean?
I wonder if it's because the Hashira training art to me felt like more of a refinement of skills that you should already know instead of teaching you something new. Like the entry level exam was basically like, do you have the resolve? Do you have the basic foundation to survive against demons?
Mm-hmm.
And then once then progressing from there, it's more, experience, skill refinement. And then the Hashira training art was more so, we know we're about to go against Muzan. Y'all got to tighten up. This was the tightening up season. Like, I understand that you know how to do this, but I need you to do this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need you to turn to the side. I need you to turn to the side.
Yeah, it was a lot of instances they were like, yeah, you'd be dead by now. You'd be dead again. You'd be dead again. You'd be dead 3 times by now. So
I know you know how to do this, and I know you know how to do this, but I need you to do it faster. I need you to do it swift. I need you to be more precise.
Yeah.
So
it also did a good job of showing how weak they are.
That too.
And a lot of people just didn't have the resolve to stick that through.
Some people was just like, I'm gonna stay back here, or we gonna go back. It was when they got to, was it the snake Hashira's training, and the dudes were just they were just like, we gonna let you have it, Tanjiro. We gonna be in the back, and we just gonna make sure when the time comes, we support you.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because it also, I think it just brought into perspective how realistic the situation is, and allowing and making people make realistic decisions on how they want to move forward in the Demon Slayer Corps. Like, it would be nice to train to the Hashira level, but I can't do this. And if it came down to it and we gotta fight Muzan, I'm not trying to be the one that make everybody lose. So let me take an executive decision. Let me be realistic with myself and be like, you know what? I'm gonna let y'all be at the front. I'll be in the back for support.
I got y'all lunch and dinner.
And I'll give you that, because a lot of the shonens, like, and I ain't trying to throw no shots at nobody else, but like, if you look at like what's going on in My Hero right now, like, they try to keep every character relevant as best they can outside of the trio. Like, even the dude who summoned birds and the dude with a tail are somehow still fighting. And let's just be honest, if this was like the real world, y'all would have been left behind.
Some of y'all gotta be at the back.
Right. But I like that Demon Slayer actually emphasizes, like, nah, Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke and Kanao, as the younger, newer generation of Demon Slayers, they're the standouts. We got about 100 other folks over here who they better be glad they know some breathing styles and they can actually hold their breath long enough. They ain't getting this level. And the Hashira, these are like 1 in a million type of talent. They're our military. They're the ones we got to rely on.
I think the training art does show you kind of like the difference. A lot of I guess the gap between the Hashira and just anybody who decided I'm gonna be a demon slayer. It was like it takes a lot to get up to these folks' level. You know, you ain't gonna just pick up no sword and fight, and okay, I'm a Hashira. You know, these is like a special select of people right here.
Do y'all think, because of what we know is about to come up, do y'all think they did that to really solidify the power gaps between everybody? So when we when we get to those battles, we'll be able to fully visualize the strength, because the demons that they're about to go against, we're seeing the Hashira level strength, we're seeing the power gaps, and then when we meet the demons, I think it's really gonna put it into perspective, like how hard these upper moons finna go in this castle. How hard these upper moons go for real.
Look, it's those scenes, and also the end scene, because I don't want to get ahead and I don't know how I can describe it to y'all. But when a buddy says stop, please, can y'all please stop? That scene is really going to emphasize what these kids are alluding to, where it's like, hey, we're going to do our best to support you because we know we can't fight.
Whew. Let's
so you recognize the scene.
That's
going to hit.
Let's talk about the final scene, them falling into the Infinity Castle. I just want to talk about Zenitsu. I've been waiting for 4 seasons for Zenitsu to lock in. The way he was just falling, and he was just like completely like dead in the face with that sword at ready. I was like, oh my god.
And that boy opened them eyes. It was like, nah, he ain't sleep. He just locked in for real.
Sleep. He just locked in. He don't know where he at, what he doing. He just know, you know what?
We here.
We finna lock in.
He had them Killua eyes when Killua started releasing his nin and his Hatsu saying, "I'm gonna murder you." That's what Zenitsu had. His eyes got dark. He ready to murder. I can't say why, but he even the Hashira was shocked.
I was
now
just
maybe that's their arrogance and strength. Maybe it's because they're arrogant about their strength. But even the Hashira was shocked falling through there. Zenitsu was just like, "Okay, we here, game time."
He was just like, you know what? It is what it is. Somebody finna be in here. I don't give a damn who's in. Somebody's gonna be in here.
Who I'm here for is going to be here, and I'm getting them.
I've been waiting for 4 seasons for Zenitsu to lock in. I've been waiting 4 seasons for the man to get serious with his eyes open.
Yeah.
Because he can get serious when he goes to sleep. But I've been waiting for that man to lock in for 4 seasons.
Man.
And I think that's just another example of foreshadowing of how dumb this Infinity Castle arc is gonna go. Because for the past 4 seasons, Zenitsu been crying, hollering, yelling, "Save me, marry me. I don't want to be in the Demon Slayer Corps. Tanjiro, what are you talking about?" And for him to fall into the Infinity Castle that is filled with demons, Muzan looking at them fall through the castle, and he's looking like he's looking.
And that's what I was supposed to say. You got to give credit to Muzan. This man got everybody. He said y'all all going to hell tonight. He got the folks that ain't even in the battle right now. I'm just what Inosuke was doing for to eat his food.
He's trying to eat his tempura.
shrimp tempura.
He
put it in everybody.
Inosuke was funny for me because Inosuke just be down for anything. He saw where they was. He grabbed that hamburger, his hog head, and locked in.
Yeah, because here's the thing. We've talked about Tanjiro, but people can't forget, like, even though you kind of write off Zenitsu and Inosuke a little bit, because Zenitsu is just a character archetype who screams a lot and is perverted, they helped fight these Hashira. They was there with Rengoku trying to defeat that under that lower moon, and then watch Rengoku fight Akaza. They was there with Tengen. They was They weren't in the Swordsmith Village, were they?
No, they weren't there.
They weren't in the Swordsmith Village, but they were there for the other two Upper Moons. They saw those fights, experienced it, felt the fear, and had to fight hard.
And they held their own.
They trained. They up there.
Can't sleep on them boys.
You can't. I just, man. But I feel like I want to go back to what you said about Muzan when he dropped them all in the castle. They really got the drop on him. The fact that they resorted Muzan to throwing everybody in his castle, because for the past 4 seasons, anytime we've seen the castle, it's just been him and his demons. They've been hanging out, this our little space, we chill. For him to get the drop and you be like, you know what, Infinity Castle.
But he was leading up to it though, because he had, I forget the lady's name, that with the eyeballs and stuff. They've been keeping eyes on all of the demon slayers.
But he was looking for the master.
Yeah, but I assume he was like, we looking for the master, but we got our eyes on these other folks too. So when it is time,
we really want
Nezuko. When it's time, we know where all them at. We gonna drop them in this castle, and also because he pulled all the demons. I don't think that was his
plan. I don't think that was his plan.
So why y'all think he withdrew all the demons into the Infinity Castle?
I think he was doing that because they were killing his Upper Moons.
Okay,
because the past couple seasons, every time he sent out an Upper Moon, they was done for.
You got to look at it. Muzan's been hunting for that flower for the longest, the blue spider lily.
Mm-hmm.
They were killing his Upper Moons, and at some point, remember, he killed his lower moons because he got sick of them.
Right.
Akaza disappointed him when he got stabbed by Tanjiro's sword, and all he was able to do was take down Rengoku. And now he knows that Nezuko's out. Muzan ain't creating no more demons. He ain't trying to look for no more people to turn to demons. All he wants is Nezuko and to get revenge on Ubuyashiki because he dislike her.
Which is Nezuko. Why I would be surprised that he pulled in the demons that's not even like Upper Moon or anything. Like he pulled in these good for nothing demons. So that's why I'm kind of surprised about that.
I feel like he did that. I only feel like he did that was to keep them busy. Because they got the drop on them. They almost had him. Let's be real. Mm-hmm. They almost had him.
They did destroy his body.
They got the drop on him. So he drops them in the Infinity Castle. He calls all the demons in there, and he's making it as hard as possible for them to get back to him. Mm-hmm. Because Tamayo still got her hand chucked in his gut. He's not healed all the way. So, yeah, at this point, he's making it as hard as possible for them to get back to him. He's hoping that his Upper Moons, along with these lower level demons, because there's so many of them, can overwhelm them. If I want to make a comparison, let's talk about Shibuya. When they got into that subway and they were overwhelming Yuji and Gojo and all of them with those lower level curses. And Geto and the other dude was just standing there waiting. It's the same deal.
In real life, I think if Ubuyashiki didn't really damage Muzan with the help of Tamayo and everybody, I think he was probably just going to summon them demons to the Demon Slayer headquarters. Because it works in reverse. Like, Baby Girl done sent folks outside of that Infinity Castle before. Mm-hmm. I thought he was probably just going to be like, Akaza and all of y'all, Doma and the other one, come here. We finna take him down. I found my prize. I'm taking Nezuko with me.
If the last episode had not went down like it did, like if the house didn't blow up and none of that, and Tamayo didn't come out, I think everybody would have came out. If he got to kill the master the way he wanted to, then it becomes his domain. But because they got the drop on him, he was like, okay, I'm finna bring y'all into my house because I can control the environment. I know where everybody's at. I can pull everybody in. Tanjiro is falling through the Infinity Castle, talking about, I'm finna send you to hell. And Muzan's like, come get me, and starts closing 40 doors in his face. He can't do that on the outside.
He had Tanjiro cussing him out. That's how you know Tanjiro is mad. You got Tanjiro over here doing all this.
Upset. But I think because they got the drop on him and they caught him so off guard, he had to resort to a place where he had control in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever think it was his plan for all them demon slayers to drop off in his castle, because he could have been did it. If you could have did it, if you could have dropped all the Hashira in your Infinity Castle this whole time, he could have been did that. He could have been dropped Tanjiro, Nezuko, and them into that Infinity Castle.
And let's just be real. One Hashira, albeit the strongest, one Hashira was able to blow his head off and probably had the stamina to hold him down for at least another 30 minutes. You saw how long Tengen and them was fighting to wait till sunrise. If all those Hashira plus Tanjiro, Nosuke, Zenitsu, and Kaneo was there and they said our strategy is just to keep him in this sunlight, Muzan would have lost without the help of his upper moons in the tower.
I personally believe if they rushed him and he did not make the decision to drop him in that castle, he was done in the season, in the Demon Slayer, right there. Filler in a season, right there.
Everybody gets paired off like in the end of Naruto. We see who falls in love, and boom, goodbye.
Boom. This was the day we beat it, Muzan. We jumped his ass. The whole last episode of Demon Slayer is them just jumping Muzan. But man, we've kind of been talking about some theories and what we feel like is coming next. I want to get into a more, because we know what's coming next. So I feel like it's kind of a bit pointless for us to start talking about theories. I want to have a more business-like conversation, because with them releasing it in movies, we could kind of look at this as an Attack on Titan situation. How would you guys prefer that Ufotable releases these last 3 movies?
I hope it ain't no 6 months gap between them.
I've said you go ahead, Antoine.
I'm just saying I don't. The only thing that I minded about the Attack on Titan one was the amount of time we had to wait in between them. The movies were good to me. I think stopping points, whatever, I was fine with that. But having to wait months to watch that next one, that was the only thing I ain't like.
So you're more of the opinion of they should release closer.
A little closer. I know they're not gonna be back to back like a week or something between each other, but not a 6 month gap.
I said it off camera. I feel like the max they could go is 6 months if they're putting it in theaters. Put it in theaters. Each movie is basically 4 episodes worth of length. 4, 8, 12. There's 12 episodes. 20 minutes in an episode, not including the intro and outro. That makes sense. If you do one movie every 6 months, keep it in theaters for about 3 to 4 months, that's the maximum to where you don't lose interest. The sweet spot, however, is one every 4 months. If y'all can get one movie out every 4 months, keep it in theaters for 3, put the episodes on Crunchyroll in month 4 right before the next one release so everybody can rewatch it after already going to the movies twice to see it, that would be the sweet spot. You would finish in a year. The first one could start off on like New Year's. Then you got what? February, March, April, May. You got in the spring, summertime. Then you end it off near the winter around Christmas. That'd be fire.
How long were they usually waiting between movie episodes? Because I know a lot of people kept getting mad. They was like, I went to go see the movie and this just came out on Crunchyroll. I paid my money. First of all, y'all should have knew that anyway, that they was going to drop it on Crunchyroll. So if you're going to go see the movie, just go see the movie. Don't be mad about it. So what do you think is the sweet spot between movie release on Crunchyroll?
This time it was late February after me and Foop Googled it. Late February for the movie and then early May for the series to actually start back.
But that was more, but I feel like this situation is a little bit different because we already know that the movie's not movies. Like, that's just, you just getting early access to watch episode 1 before everybody else.
Right.
But if we're looking at, if they're calling this a movie, if they are truly calling this a cinematic experience, if this is Mugen, if this is a Mugen Train level production, I honestly feel like you shouldn't drop the movie on the streaming service until the second one is ready to come out.
I can see that. Yeah.
That's why I say do it every 4 months. The movies are Demon Slayer is popular enough to where they can easily keep one movie in theaters for at least 2 months. You could stretch to 3.
I feel like 6 months, what Antoine was saying, I feel like 6 months seems a bit more realistic as far as promotion, getting people to come into the theaters. You know, they're gonna want to do merchandise. You know, they want people to have the time to discuss it, make the TikTok videos, the discourse, the clips, all of that. They want to. I know they're going to want to milk this out as long as possible.
Yeah.
But you have to find the sweet spot in between milking it as long as possible and keeping the anticipation and not, I guess, blowing your viewers. Like, not a Attack on Titan situation to where we're hyped for this one movie and then it's a year later, oh y'all, here comes the next movie. Girl, get the fuck out of my face. Like, I feel like the 6-month area is the sweet spot that when you can put it in theaters, let it sit there for 2 months, and then you got 4 months of people running their mouth. I'm still, people be making them posts, I'm still here, and it's some clip of somebody fighting, or, the TikTok videos, like the discourse can run it, run its course. And now let's ramp up for the second movie.
Yeah.
6 months is the max for me because the only thing I'm looking at like was 6 months. So if it releases on, let's say it starts in 2025, you got January. So then you waiting, and because it's month 1, really you got till July. Then you got till January the next year. I'll say that's the maximum. I feel like anything past 6 months is too long.
That's what I'm
Anything
saying.
past that is too long.
That's why I say 6 months sounds more realistic to me than a 4-month span. Because really, if you want to look at it in hindsight, them 4 months gonna go by real fast. And you saying 4 months right now, but if we get to 2025, you're gonna be looking at me on this podcast like, damn, the second one finna come out already? We just saw that so.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, it depends. The only reason I say that would be good is because then we got it all out in a year. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like 4th month of the year, 8th month of the year, 12th month of the year, something like that. If we got it all out of there in a year, I would not feel like they milked me as a viewer. I feel like when it comes to the way they can even push out such an amazing 8-episode looking season like this, that is enough time for the animators to get it going. Because by the time the first movie even gets announced for the date and when it's going to be releasing, they're probably finishing up and working on movie 2. So by the time movie 2 gets announced and it's dropping, movie 3 is already going into gold as well. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just thinking of like marketing, and I'm thinking of them wanting to like milk it out as long as possible, them trying to garner more audience to it or whatever.
How separated have these current seasons been?
Around this time last year is when Swordsman Village Arc ended. So
the seasons have mostly been about a year apart, mostly?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It depends. I don't want them going further than 6.
I don't want them going further than 6, especially since it's the end. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the end. You've been building all of this anticipation. There's a lot of people who already knows that what's about to go down. We know the animation is gonna go crazy. I think everybody could be a bit hesitant of what happened with the Attack on Titan situation, and I just don't want Ufotable to make the same mistake. I don't want them to be. We already know they money hungry. Is why they put in the first episode of every season in the goddamn theater. But I don't want them to be so money hungry that they ruin the experience of what Infinity Castle is about to be.
Yeah.
Plus this one arc. That's another thing. Like when you in real life, could they possibly find stopping points? Maybe. But the way what I remember reading from the manga, I can think of one stopping point. I can only think of one stopping point. So you finna have us context switching. You're going to give us what, 2 cliffhangers? Cliffhanger after the first movie, cliffhanger after the second movie. Like you're edging us. Like
I think it needs to be like what it needs to be. Like I said, the 6-month thing sounds more realistic to me, but I think we need to go back to the formulas of how franchises like Harry Potter and Hunger Games ended, where it was part 1, part 2, and they released a year apart. I know a year sounds long, but it's at least back to back in that regard. Now I understand that these were live action films, so the production is a bit different. But I don't need like we don't have to push too hard to get this to, space everything out.
Yeah. Because if they do it right, they can get their merch sales. They can get their voice actors coming in, signing Funko Pops, sell some fake replicas of swords, because I know they replicated Tengen swords off of some major company was that sold them off. They could get their merch out there if they don't milk it as bad as Attack on Titan did. Because I feel like the Attack on Titan fandom, I don't want to say it fell off. We still all watched it, but I could just see like the rumblings on social media, conversations with people in real life, and it was a disappointment for fans.
Yeah.
We having to rewatch the old stuff because it took so long for this X movie to come out. We trying to remind ourselves of what we missed just to catch up because it wasn't a real good stopping point in real life.
I just need them. I think I'm kind of cautious on how Ufotable is going to do this, given the fact that they announced the 3-film event and then give us no start date. I don't even think they gave us a year. You know how some people just be like summer 2025, right. Oh, it's coming winter 2025. They ain't give a shit.
No.
You see how much stuff just got announced recently for an Anime Expo. Oh, 2026. Like, that's more than a year and a half. You didn't even say which month in 2026.
And Demon Slayer didn't say shit. That's what I'm saying. They just saying, oh, Infinity Castle 3-movie event. Where's the start date?
Realistically, where y'all think it's coming?
We can't. Hypothetically, if you was to release this, when was you think about? When was you think about releasing this?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
To make a real estimation, if you're saying these seasons been a year apart, realistically, the first one, not till about late spring, summer 2025. The first movie is when we see it.
If they are, I hope they already working on it. I hope they already working on it.
Yeah.
And I hope we hear something soon about when it's gonna release. I would be a little bit more optimistic, and you just give me like, your Demon Slayer phase 5 and when you expect these movies to drop. Give us the Marvel treatment. We gonna go put this movie here, we gonna put this movie here, we gonna put this movie here.
They just want to make their money, bro. I'm not even mad. They want to make their money. I'm not even mad. It's just don't mess this up for us because we Demon Slayer fans.
Yeah,
I was right over there.
I've been waiting for them to get to this point. I've been waiting so long. Since like, when did Entertainment District Art came out? 2022. I've been waiting since 2022 to get to this point. Yeah. I think I don't want them to miss this. I don't want to lose the excitement that is running through my body right now.
Mm-hmm. It's like you still know it's gonna be good, but you want to stay on that kind of that hype a little bit.
I want to stay on that high. You know what I'm saying?
I will say this though, to play devil's advocate. It's been so much good anime releasing that in real life, if they look at the environment and they say, okay, this is when Hell's Paradise is coming out, this is when Solo Leveling's coming back, this is when Mushoku Tensei's come back. If they look at their competitors and they're like, okay, this is when there's a window where ain't nobody paying attention to us, let's come in at the next window. Because if y'all come out, if y'all wait too long and now we got a gap, like there's like this upcoming summer anime season and ain't really no fire dropping, I'm gonna be upset. I'm like, y'all could release right now. All we got is Fairy Tail, and I love Fairy Tail, but that's all we got right now. You see what I'm saying?
It's like, don't come for me in the comments.
Look, love Fairy Tail. It's just if they plan it right, being on their side. If they see there's a whole lot of heat dropping early 2025, they could wait till mid to late 2025 and be.
But playing devil's advocate to your devil's advocate, the anime that you named, are you really holding them to the same pedestal of where Demon Slayer is right now?
I'm not holding it to their pedestal. I'm
just saying, if Solo Leveling and the Demon Slayer movie drop right now, if both heat, no shit on Solo Leveling. But if they both dropped at the same time, where do you think the needle is pointing to?
Look, I'm going to Demon Slayer, but here's what I'm saying. If no Demon Slayer movie dropped, and I've been waiting like 7 months already, like a year already, I'm not going to be too upset that I can't eat the Thanksgiving turkey if you let me get a bowl of mac and cheese.
He
If you
always
gave
goes to the goddamn
let's
food.
just talk about it. Your auntie and your grandma been cooking all day. And you like, man, I'm trying to eat some turkey, some greens, some cornbread. And she like, boy, eat this bowl of mac and cheese and shut up for the next 5 hours. You're gonna be like, I want the rest of the food, but you know what?
I think
TTO mac and cheese hitting.
I think with it being like with Demon Slayer being in theaters, it kind of creates that separation as well. So like if they were like if Solo Leveling and Demon Slayer were both dropping week by week, and now it's like, okay, I gotta, they fight for my attention. You're gonna watch both, but they fight for my attention. You're gonna go see the Demon Slayer movie. You're gonna sit there for however long it is, and you ain't gotta worry about that no more for probably a couple months until the next one come out. So you still gonna get your Solo Leveling. So the separation, I think if they did choose to go that route to drop them around the same time, it wouldn't be the worst thing ever.
I just feel like whenever they drop, the shit's gonna go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They could drop when nothing's on TV. They can drop when everything's on TV.
Right.
It's nothing's gonna overshadow it.
Nothing's gonna overshadow. You're right.
Given the point where we are now. Now, if we wanted to go backwards, maybe talk about Mugen Train. If they had made the Entertainment District arc a movie, if they made this shit a movie, that's a different story. That's a different conversation because you didn't have to do that. But given the point where we are now, given everything that we just talked about leading up to this point, it's gonna hit regardless. It doesn't. To me, I feel like it does not matter where they put that motherfucker.
See, but that's what I'm saying. I'm saying because they could release it whenever they want, but if they wanted to give themselves as much time as possible, they can look out at the atmosphere and be like, "Are them anime fans fed over there? Yeah, we gonna take our time. Then we gonna wait. We gonna wait. We feeling good. We feeling ourselves."
I cause chaos. I'm dropping it right here.
I want that greed they talk about in the Bible.
I want it all.
A full bowl of mac and cheese, and you threw some turkey on the top of that
motherfucker. See, you one of them greedy nieces right there. One of them greedy kids.
Give me all.
That's why your aunties tell your parents to bring you late. They said, "Don't bring her until it's time to eat. Keep her at home.
not keep her back a little bit."
Look, when they didn't tell my parents the cookout, the Thanksgiving dinner started at 5 p.m. They've been cooking since 1. We can't show up until 5. They've been cooking since 1.
Look, my aunties had to do some of my cousins like that. I was the good nephew. My auntie said, just go play Halo with your older cousin. That's what I'll do. The other cousins, they didn't get Thanksgiving dinner started at 4 o'clock for them. We was eating at 2. But it started at 4 for them because my auntie didn't want to deal with them.
I would not claim y'all. That's so crazy.
My auntie didn't want to deal with them. I was the good nephew. She didn't want to deal with them.
She was strategizing.
Yeah.
But listen, so we've gotten through all of the hot takes. Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about as far as Demon Slayer Season 4 before we peace out?
This was a good anime season. Shout out to Ufotable. Shout out to the mangaka who wrote Demon Slayer. I forgot her name. Shout out to her as well.
Nah, for real. Filler done right, as Ron said. Filler done right. You got anything else, Antoine?
Nah, I'm just looking forward to it. They've been doing good.
All right, y'all. But with all that being said, we're gonna go ahead and shut this down. So once again, I want to thank you both, Ryan and Antoine, for joining me on another episode of the Blerd Mob Podcast. I want to thank everybody who tuned in into the episode, whether you were watching or listening. It is always appreciated. Make sure you guys check us out on our social media platforms. We're on Instagram at the Blerd Mob Pod. We're on Twitter at the Blerd Mob, and you can find us on TikTok and Facebook at the Blerd Mob Podcast. If you're feeling generous, check out those links in the description. You can check out our affiliate link to Entertainment Earth, get you some Funko Pops, some statues. Some of the proceeds from your purchase comes to us. Or you can send us a donation through our Ko-fi link. That also comes straight to us. And we use that money for equipment, subscriptions, software, and everything that we use to bring you guys this episode today. And I feel like there was another thing that I usually say. It's been a minute. That might be it. But like Ron said at the beginning, make sure you guys like this video, hit that subscribe button, and hit those bell notifications so you can be notified when we drop another episode. And with all that being said, this is the mob checking out. Peace.
Yeah,
like
he was mad.
It's like Kendrick sat there and thought of the most diabolical thing he could say on every bar.
And I'm glad you brought that up, fool, because I do want to real quick talk on the double standards between female beef and male beef. The shit that